A ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon took effect on Wednesday after more than a year of fighting that has killed thousands of people. The truce should bring to a halt a war that has forced tens of thousands of people in Israel and hundreds of thousands more in Lebanon to flee their homes. US President Joe Biden announced the ceasefire agreement on Tuesday. As Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, his ministers agreed to a halt. A sudden and intense strike hit Beirut, Lebanon's capital, just hours before a truce between Israel and Hezbollah was set to take effect. The attack, which occurred less than an hour before the 4 a.m. local time set for the ceasefire, sent massive plumes of smoke billowing into the sky. The Israeli army had earlier issued evacuation orders for residents in central Beirut and the city's southern suburbs, citing concerns over potential violence. The sudden strike has sparked widespread panic and concerns among locals who had been bracing for the truce. The Palestinian death toll from the ongoing Israeli attacks in Gaza had risen to over 44,200, with more than 104,000 injured, Gaza-based health authorities said in a statement released on Tuesday. In the past 24 hours, Israeli military operations in Gaza caused 14 deaths and 108 injuries, according to the statement. According to reports from the Palestinian media outlets, the Israeli military bombed a school in the Al Zaytun neighborhood in northern Gaza. The school was being used for a shelter for displaced people, and this attack resulted in 15 deaths and dozens of injuries on Tuesday. The European Parliament has strongly condemned Russia's ongoing aggression in Ukraine and is now calling for the North Korea to cease its support of Russia's actions. This move is part of a broader effort to isolate Russia and hold it accountable for its violations of international law. Hungarian Minister for European Affairs, János Boka, and North Korea's support to the Russian war of aggression on Ukraine is a violation of UN Security Council resolutions and the UN Charter. US President-elect Donald Trump named Jamieson Greer as his trade envoy, a key figure in the rolling out of the US President-elect's economic agenda, in which tariffs are said to play a significant role. Greer, who served as the chief of staff of US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer during Trump's first administration, if confirmed by the Senate, Greer will be charged with rolling out Trump's tariff policy and negotiating trade deals. Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, Chrystia Freeland, is rallying Canadians to present a united front in response to US President-elect Trump's threat to impose new tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. Freeland's call for Team Canada approach aims to promote a coordinated effort to address the potential economic impacts of Trump's proposed tariffs. Hundreds of opposition protesters took to the streets of Tirana calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Edi Rama's government amid allegations of corruption. The demonstrations turned violent as police attempted to disperse the crowd using tear gas and water cannons. The opposition has been staging weekly protests demanding the establishment of a technocratic caretaker government to oversee the country until parliamentary elections in 2025. China on Wednesday successfully launched the modified ZQ-2Y1 carrier into space from a commercial space innovation pilot zone in northwest China. The carrier rocket blasted off at 10 a.m. local time and sent 2 test satellites into planned orbits. This mission marks the 4th flight of the ZQ-2 carrier rocket. A magnitude 6.4 earthquake struck off the western coast of Japan's Noto Peninsula. The Japan Met Agency reported the quake occurred at a depth of 10 kilometers, but fortunately no tsunami warning was issued. According to the US Geological Survey, the magnitude was slightly lower at 6.1. As of now, there are no reports of injuries or damage. The affected area is currently being monitored for any potential aftershocks or other seismic activity. Bangladesh Interim Government Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus has ordered an investigation into the killing of a lawyer in Chittagong. The lawyer's death occurred during a protest against the arrest of Hindu rights activist Chinmoy Krishnadas. According to eyewitnesses, the lawyer was participating in a demonstration outside the Chittagong court when the violence erupted. Violence ensued when the group of miscreants attacked the demonstrators, leading to clashes between the two groups. The lawyer, who was caught in the middle of the violence, sustained injuries and was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf announced that it will call off its protest in Islamabad just 3 days after it began. The decision follows a crackdown by law enforcement agencies that dispersed protesters from the red zone. The PTI, led by jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan, has vowed to announce its future plans soon. Elon Musk has been actively using his platform X to support President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet nominees and promote his preferred candidates. The billionaire sees these individuals as key players in reshaping the US government. According to a report between November 7th and November 20th, Musk posted or shared over 70 messages about Trump's cabinet choices. While these posts made up a small portion of his more than 2,000 posts during the time, they spotlighted some of Trump's most controversial picks, such as Tulsi Gabbard for Intelligence Chief and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the Health Department. Musk, who leads Tesla, SpaceX and owns X, reportedly spent at least $119 million to support Trump's election campaign. Interpol has arrested around 1,000 suspects for their involvement in cybercrime-related activities in Africa. The operation, called Serengeti, Interpol worked with the African police to put an end to the underground cybercrime belly. As part of the operation, Interpol identified around 35,000 victims linked to nearly $193 million in financial losses. It was discovered that the ransomware business email compromise, digital extortion and online scams were the most common form of cybercrime. Several UK police forces are pulling back from Elon Musk's social media platform X due to concerns about its role in spreading violence and extremist content. In October, North Wales police stopped posting on X. Some forces still use X for updates like road closures, but prefer platforms like Facebook and Instagram. For community engagement, this summer X was used to spread misinformation that fueled riots across Britain. The platform also reinstated accounts previously banned for extremist content. Google is planning to adjust its search results in Europe after smaller rivals have reported reduced website traffic. This follows EU regulators launching an investigation into potential violations by the tech giant of the EU Digital Markets Act, which prohibits big tech companies from favoring their own services. Google has been under scrutiny for changes that have impacted price comparison platforms, hotels, airlines, and small retailers. Some businesses have claimed direct booking clicks dropped by 30% due to these updates. The European Commission is currently reviewing Google's proposals for compliance. The US dollar steadied against major peers as investors continue to take stock of President-elect Donald Trump's tariff pledges, while keeping an eye on key inflation figures out of the US later in the day. The New Zealand dollar rose after the Reserve Bank of New Zealand cut benchmark rates by 50 basis points, while noting that inflation had declined to near the midpoint of its targeted range. The dollar has experienced some turbulence in the past few sessions, falling on the back of Trump's late Friday naming the hedge fund manager Scott Bessent to become US Treasury Secretary before surging after Trump's tariff vows. The dollar index, which measures the greenback against 6 rivals, was last down 0.07%. China's October industrial profits narrowed their earlier declines, helped by a low base the previous year, but headwinds on earnings remain stiff, with the economy still battling weak demand and deflation pressures. China's sprawling industrial sector, which includes mining, processing and manufacturing companies, has struggled to stay profitable in the face of feeble domestic demand, hit by a years-long property crisis, unemployment and rising trade tensions. Profits in most industries improved compared with the previous months, with new drivers such as equipment and high-tech manufacturing playing a strong supporting role. Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh urged the United States to lift export restrictions on some technology and said the country wanted to develop satellite communications. Chinh also said two countries should keep good relations and cooperate to foster multilateralism to address global challenges. He did not make references to possible US tariffs on Vietnam, despite threats from the upcoming Trump administration. Vietnam is a significant exporter to the United States and has a large trade surplus with Washington. HP forecast its first quarter profit below Wall Street expectations, signaling persistent choppy demand in the personal computers market and sending the company's shares down 8% in extended trading. Traditional PC makers have been grappling with soft demand following a boom during the pandemic. AI-powered PCs are also yet to grab the attention of the mass market, even as their demand increased in the corporate and educational sectors, thanks to businesses and institutions looking to upgrade their devices. British luxury car maker Aston Martin has forecast its annual core profit to fall short of the 2023 levels, citing delivery delays in the ultra-exclusive Valiant models as it weighs on its margins. The company expects its 2024 adjusted data to be in the range of £270 million to £280 million compared to £305.9 million last year. The car maker said it now expects to deliver only half of the 37 Valiant models by the end of the year. The second game of the World Chess Championship 2024 between holder Ding Liren and challenger D. Gukesh finished in a draw. Ding Liren got his title defense underway in style. He scripted a win coming back from a position of disadvantage against Indian challenger in the first game. Liren made the first move in the game with 2 white pieces. The youngest challenger for the World Championship title defended well. And after 20 moves, Ding and Gukesh decided to go for a draw with a 3-4 repetition by making repetitive knight moves. The Chinese player leads the World Championship match 1.5 to 0.5. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.